I should have fixed it.
Awesome. Sounds great. Thank you. The last group of you had left off, you had found yourself within a newly discovered small city, aptly named the Slums. For its residents were the weak, the sick, the elderly, and you had discovered that Levi and the Crimson Five had been working out of there as a base of operations. Some conversation was had with the Crimson Five, and you were informed that these people who are just trying to get by were once citizens of a nearby city of Yartar. You also learned that the current Water Baron seemingly evicted these individuals because they could not live up to whatever standards she has been imposing. There was a little bit of back and forth as the group of you tried to grasp the situation, and Levi had explained that he wanted to reunite the people of the slums with their home city of Yartar and to work together with you in bringing about significant change in the form of replacing the current Water Baron. Thankfully, you guys procured some very precious purple worm venom, which the half dwarven female was able to concoct a very powerful poison with which she had provided to the group of you with instructions on how to administer it. You were then asked to head into Yartar itself to meet up with an individual. Where is an individual known as Beldabar, who seemingly had additional information for you about the layout of the Water Baron's mansion, in hopes that the group of you would be able to successfully infiltrate and lay the current Water Baron to rest. So, the last thing that had happened while you guys were standing within the underground chamber here within the slums was a bit of tension, where the Verdan that you guys have come to know as Vermilion, seemingly accusing Tizio of murder, and in a bit of blind rage, Tizio attempted to strike at him. Unsuccessful, he stormed off and up back into the city itself. And as you guys kind of stand there, confused by the whole happenstance, that's where we pick back up.
So do we want to start heading that way, or do we rest first?
How long have we been here?
Uh, from the time you woke up to the whole conversation and the planning, or at least what information that Levi and his group have been able to give you, it's maybe about midday at this point.
Probably head on to Yartar now, yeah?
Get an early start.
Okay. Tizio, as you kind of storm off and up back into the town proper, are you going anywhere? Are you just standing by? What are you doing?
Sorry. I think I'll just kind of stand by, but like at kind of further out, just kind of thinking to himself.
Okay. So you eventually make your way back up the long wooden ladder before reaching the trapdoor beneath the small abode where Nestor keeps all of her alchemical supplies. And you can see that she is currently just in the process of tinkering and just mixing chemicals to and fro, just taking notes here and there. And she sees the group of you approach. She just kind of looks at you, but doesn't say anything. And you eventually push your way back out into the slums. There's a number of individuals that are going about just tending as best they can to each other. You see some individuals are kind of passing off rations or whatever little bits of food they can, and they quickly hide it out of sight from others. And about 20, 30 or so feet away, you see Tizio just kind of quietly brooding.
So we're heading out.
Yeah, I should be able to get to Yartar today, right?
Cool. The sooner we get out, the sooner we can get out of this. The less we have to deal with them.
Yeah, it seems like some of us have a little bit of baggage.
Sorry, guys. Cannot hear you, Talon. Was anybody able to hear him?
No.
No.
He looks muted to me. Oh, no, he does not.
He's been quiet for a while. Now I can't hear him at all.
Yeah. I'm sure he's working on that. Eva, go ahead and make an intelligence check for me.
I'm great at these.
Okay. As you kind of speak with Tizio about this, and you guys pull out the map and just kind of get a quick guesstimate on how far you guys are. It's probably about maybe a day or so's journey through the mountains before reaching Yartar, but doesn't
Test,
seem to be
test.
too difficult.
There
We
you
can
are.
hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Were you trying to chime in at any point while you guys were leaving the area?
No, it's fine.
Okay. But you are able to confer with Tizio and kind of guesstimate it's about maybe a day's journey or so to make it to Yartar itself.
Does anyone have a plan for what's about to happen? This seems like something we might want to think about before we're, doing it.
I thought the plan was
Oh,
show
remember
up,
we
go to
talked
a
about
tavern.
this? Yeah, we were gonna talk to the dude first and then come up with the plan based off of his blueprint.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I forgot.
And we were going to talk to the people to see if, this water baron's actually an asshole.
Yep. Sounds good. I forgot about that, but I got it now.
Okay. So as you all kind of, gather up your things or anything that you need to before heading out, you guys are heading northward, just continuing along the Desern River. Who wants to helm the navigation for this as you guys are trekking through the Desern Mountains?
I suppose Perry can.
Okay, just roll a general survival check for me.
Wrong one. One sec.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thankfully, the weather's pretty clear on this day. You you don't get a sense of any significant changes in weather, especially with that rolling storm that had just rolled through the night prior. Uh, Fairly confident that it should be pretty smooth sailing as you make your trek up through Yartar. You guys spend probably the better part of the day just kind of casually making your way following along the river as you can hear it rushing in a southern direction. The rocky cliff sides of the mountains around you don't seem to give off much life or any sort of presence of wildlife at this point, but everything seems like a fairly smooth ride. Eventually, probably getting a little bit later in the evening now, and you guys have maybe made just a little over half your journey. You guys eventually know that you have about an hour or so of sunlight ahead of you before it's just going to get completely pitch black.
Let's start looking for some camping grounds then.
Okay. Make a perception check for me.
Man,
You are consistent today.
you know, couldn't ask for better.
With a little bit of time, with the light that you guys do have remaining, you are able to find a small outcropping within the mountainside. It's a shallow cave, and as you kind of peer inside and just take a look, it doesn't appear to be occupied. It appears to be a decent enough shelter to keep you out of the elements for the evening and keep out of any prying eyes.
This'll do, guys, for the night.
Sounds good.
Okay. Is there anything you guys want to do before you bed down?
So, Tizio, are we gonna unpack any of what happened a couple hours ago?
Um, DM, simply because I totally forgot to ask you during the week. The guy, the goblinish type fellow, to my knowledge, to my recollection, I don't know who he is. Correct?
No, you've never seen him before.
Okay, that's what I thought. Um, what do you think happened back there, Talum? They're a bunch of liars.
I mean, you kind of lost your cool, so like, just checking in on you, making sure you're okay.
Me? Lose my cool?
Learn a little bit more about who you allegedly murdered. Just general background on you as a person, Tizio.
Yeah, man, only I'm the one who's supposed to lose my cool here, so...
And you
I was a
lose a
little
lot of cool
surprised,
when you
not
try to
gonna lie.
punch someone who's right in front of you and you keep missing.
It's. I had a lot of armor on, alright? Got slowed down.
Yeah,
I'm
almost cut
gonna.
into the lyrics.
Hang on here. Well, Tizio really isn't my name. I'm actually Andres Sidiru. Yes, that, the whole company thing. Yeah, that was my pops. Long time ago, we were heading out, and we were just kind of ambushed. Sorry, I lost my wording there. And well, there were about 4 or 5 guys. They attacked us. They killed my dad. They killed my mom. They thought they killed me. But clearly I'm still around. But I don't know who he's referring to that I murdered. Maybe he's trying to blame that all on me, but I have no idea who he is.
I see. Well, it doesn't speak goods for how much truth they've been telling us so far. If you say that they're lying about that kind of thing, so hopefully we're not walking into some sort of trap or something.
Well, as long as we tread carefully, I think it'll be alright. No needs jumping in guns blazing.
So you guys aren't mad, or for me lying to you guys all this time?
I knew it the whole time.
Yeah, I
What?
honestly feel like I knew and then forgot somehow.
You guys still don't know my real name. And I don't plan on telling it to you, so.
Is it
Nope,
Tim?
I'm not mad.
I mean, what's there to be mad about? You give us a name.
Dude, even if you did kill any people, I don't see any reason why any of us could be mad at you. I've probably killed twice as many people as you have.
We've killed a lot of people just since we met each other.
Well, yeah, but he's accusing me that I killed my parents here.
Parents can be shitty people.
I mean,
parents
have
can be
you
very
killed your
shitty
parents? Tell them.
No, but they are dead.
I don't believe the word of vagabond, anyways.
Even if you did kill them, you probably had a good reason, eh? No one just kills them just because they want to. I mean, they were either shitty people, you were mind controlled, or... No, that's the only 2 reasons I can think of.
Huh? Mind controlled.
What could have been a horrible accident?
DM, I was also going to ask you quite a while back, and I have like a terrible memory. I should start writing these things down. Where the hijacking has been happening, like where they've been stealing the supplies and stuff. Is that around the same area that the ambush occurred?
No. With your parents? No.
Yeah. Would it have been, I guess, like where on the map would it have been?
Well, your parents were traveling from Waterdeep southward, so you were on the Trades Way. You were way south.
Oh, okay. I thought it, okay. That was the other way around. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much all I got.
Do you know anything about these people that ambushed you? Like, do we need to go extract some vengeance?
That's kind of my mission, yes. But But everyone, I have nothing really to go off of. No faces, no markings.
I mean, you might want to start with who's in charge of that company or whatever now. Could have been, a very definition of hostile takeover.
It could, Mr. Garrett. But I've known him for a long time. I'm sorry. They had was it Sidiru weapons, if I remember correctly. Sorry, I'm trying to scan through everything here as I'm going. Unfortunately, I had.
You don't know
I
your
did
own
not.
character?
No, I was supposed to reread this stuff earlier this week, and I did not.
Yes. From what you recall, there was the people that ambushed you did have Sedito Enterprises' latest technology on them.
In terms of weapon and armor, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it seems like Garrett knows more than he is showing off.
Well, maybe after we're done with this bastard we have to kill, we'll go kill another one.
Maybe. Any further questions, or are we done with the interrogation?
Interrogation. Oh.
I always knew you were shady.
I'm gonna remove my fake mustache and goatee. Well, I guess this is done with.
Oh, I do have a question. What do you think my name is?
Silly.
Can
The opposite of Ellis. Or is it the backwards? Ellis backwards.
That would be really funny, but no. Or it's silly. Well, that's.
Sorry, go ahead. DM, is there any way I can try and make like an intelligence check or an insight check if I can try to figure it out?
You want to see if he's lying about that?
Not that he's lying, but maybe start narrowing down his name.
You want DM tips to help figure out his name? No.
No, if I can roll or anything like
No.
that.
You can,
No, okay, alright.
You can roll
There's an
2d4
A in
and
it.
psychic damage. Only pray to God to figure out what the answer is.
Oh, well, I'm gonna make my backup character a click. Wait a minute.
Ellis, give us this. Where are you from, at least?
Oh, I'm from Waterdeep.
Well, we know you've admitted already that you're noble, right? That you were on the streets voluntarily.
That is true. Doesn't mean I was a noble, but it does mean I was on the streets voluntarily.
Implied you were rich at least.
Wealthier than some. But that's the only clue you'll get.
It doesn't narrow it down much. There's a lot of rich people in Waterdeep.
I mean, I guess in this case it's good that Waterdeep has a lot of bureaucracy. Lots of documents.
Actually, Tizio, go ahead and roll an intelligence check.
Woo!
Because you are a noble, and
Yeah,
and Ellis.
I was gonna ask if I can recognize if he looked like another family or something.
Wow, that is a very nice roll.
It is. Hold on. I'm not gonna say it out loud.
Should have stuck to your
Everyone
gun.
look at chat. Everyone look at chat.
Where is it? Keep talking, guys.
It's kind of weird without Clarion around, you know? He provided a sense of security.
We can handle ourselves.
Didn't he kill people? Or did he just go to jail for something?
I think he was wanted. I don't think we ever knew why.
Yeah, he was turned into a dragonborn, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Which
Yeah, he used to be human. That's as much as I know about him. And then his big boy Tiam, no, the other one, Bahamut boy saved him or something.
yes, the technical term is Bahamut boy.
Bahamut boy.
It's canon. So, I would like to know who wants to take first watch.
Miss Perry will.
Alright. Setting up the dome, I imagine. So as you
Of
guys
course,
all
yes.
kind of cluster together inside the rather comfortable temperate climate of the tiny hut, go ahead and make a perception check for me.
DM, I have some of the gems, excuse me, that we found in the underground. Is that something that I can see how much they're worth, or like I can do the jewelry tools thing for like in an hour? Would I need that, or is that just something I can just determine around how much they're worth?
I would say you can just roll just a general wisdom check.
Okay.
I mean, they're small. There's nothing too extravagant about them. They just seem to be very small, pocket-sized looking jewels. You gather maybe they're like you get maybe 50, 75 gold off the lot of them.
Cool. Thank you.
So Perry, as you kind of lean up against your friends and just keep an eye out towards the open face of this small cliffside here, you can hear the calming breeze kind of pushing through this valley. Um, you imagine it would give off a bit of a refreshing presence as the day itself was rather muggy, but thankfully you feel quite comfortable within the dome. You don't see or hear anything that raises alarm. At one point you do notice on the opposite side of the river what appears to be like a small brown fox that just kind of darts up towards the edge, drinks for a moment, and then dashes back off to the hillside. But your your watch concludes without issue. Who wants to take the second watch?
I can take that.
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check. It's now with it being so late into the evening and with you not having dark vision, it gets hard to see out too far into the distance. So you
Well, I have
just
those goggles, right? I have a little bit of dark vision.
oh, okay, fair enough. But still, you're
No, I
limited to
understand.
a 60-foot radius, so it's the finer details of things that could be approaching you don't seem to catch your eye. You don't hear anything or see anything that would raise alarm or suspicion. Um, it gets a little mundane after a little bit. You start pulling out your book, just kind of rummaging through it for a little bit, and get lost in a good paragraph that you wanted to refresh your memory on. But your watch concludes without issue. Who wants to take the last watch?
If you can.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. Okay. Even in this extremely early hours before the sun rises, you can't help but reminisce on home. And just the thoughts and sequences of hearing what's happened to these people in the slums, it resonates with you, especially even now, just kind of sitting in between it all, knowing what you're about to go investigate and knowing what kind of ostracizing you might have to endure again. It's a little off-putting, but as the sun begins to crest over the tops of the Deserin Mountains, and eventually when it strikes onto the dome and begins to cascade in a rainbow of colors, your watch concludes without issue. So you all complete a full night's rest. If you need to reset any spells or make decisions for the day, please do so. And you guys guesstimate that you'll probably make it to Yartar by maybe midday or so. Is there anything else you guys would like to do?
I think. Trying to see if I have any flasks. I guess we'll just add. Does anybody have flasks?
I have lots of flasks.
Could I just have like a flask of water?
I could give you an empty flask in a river.
Yeah, that works too.
Here you go.
Appreciate it. And then I guess Perry will take the morning and cast ceremony to bless the water.
Okay. Is that an hour?
It is.
Okay. And how long does the blessing of the water work for you? Let me see.
I will just post the spell.
Thank you. I'll look it up too.
I
Let's
think
see.
it just turns it into holy water. It doesn't actually do
Okay.
spells.
Yeah. So perfect. Okay, yeah. So yeah, as the morning kind of breaks and you all begin to slowly rise from your slumbers, you feel an urge to sit down and speak with Moradin, and as you do, you kind of scoop up a little bit of this water into the flask here, and you get lost in a bit of a trance for a little while as everyone's beginning to eat and consume breakfast and gather their things, and eventually you find yourself holding something that you sense is more pure and more akin to Moradin and the breath of creation and fire. So you go ahead and mark off. You have 1 vial of holy water.
Sweet.
You can also marry Tizio and Ellis if you like.
Yeah, do you want +1 AC? Just saying.
I mean, I feel like we've gotten pretty close as a group, but maybe we should wait until we're looking to do some combat instead of actually sneaking around, eh?
Well, it's permanent as long as you're married, I think.
Uh,
No, it only
I
lasts
don't
for a couple
not
days.
permanent.
It's a week.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's a while
But you have to
Uh,
name yourselves
it's
Chuck
like
and
months
Larry.
of D&D time.
I mean, we don't have to
Oh,
do
jeez,
anything,
yeah.
right? It doesn't specify that, right?
It says you are getting married.
As far as the spell goes, you don't have to. What's the word?
Consummate?
Commensurate.
Consummate, yeah.
Yeah, compliment. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Yeah. On the other hand, I will sing songs about it across the entire continent.
I
Yeah, but
will
you'll
pass
feel
on that.
magically more protected for like a
It's a
couple
very,
days.
it's a very tempting offer,
The power of
but I think
love.
I will pass.
So, breakfast's had. You guys kind of gather up your things and just check your surroundings. You gauge that you're maybe about a half day's travel, just following along the Desrin River before reaching Yartar. Who would like to helm that trek?
Suppose we can be consistent. I'll keep doing it unless somebody else wants to.
You're good.
All right.
So go ahead and roll me a survival check.
All right. Oh man,
Okay.
maybe somebody else should do it.
Following along the course of the river as it begins to wind and twist, um, while you thought to avoid or at least cut short a little bit of time because the river itself kind of bends into this U shape, which kind of brings you right back, and you you feel a little sidetracked and focused on something else. And as you're kind of leading the group through, you instinctually just keep following along the riverbed, and then once you get past that U bend, you kind of look back and you're like, well, shit, yeah, I forgot we could have just cut in a straight line. So you lose a little bit of time, but nothing terrible happens because of it. A little bit later in the day, pushing maybe 2 o'clock or so, you can now start to see it out in the distance. This massive wall that extends maybe a good 30 or so feet tall and stretches in a large arc from one part of the river to another, almost creating a barrier of sorts. And you can see out, you're about maybe a mile or so away right now, and you can see a very large, what appears to be set of wooden doors that kind of bar this entrance. So let me bring you over there.
Oh, this is a legit city.
Yeah. So you guys are pretty far out, like off the map, but what you can see is this huge barrier of brick and wood and even rooftops and what look like arrow slits and everything that are just surrounding a large portion of this river. And behind it you can see what appears to be this enormous cylindrical tower that just kind of clearly overstretches the walls themselves. Fields of wheat and grass kind of outline the exterior of this walled off portion. And on the riverbed itself, you actually can see that what appears to be large ships of various sizes and a small harbor of sorts as they are slowly in the process of navigating through or tossing anchor in the middle of this river, and small fishing boats and a very active looking city. Welcome to Yartar. What do you guys do?
So we're at the gate. We're not actually in, right?
You're about a mile away from the gate right now. So
Okay.
because it's so, this place is so massive, you can see it at such a great distance, and it makes you wonder like how tall or immense these towers and gates really are at the distance you're standing.
Oh, it's big.
Must be compensating for something.
Or they're afraid of something. Those are some serious walls.
Do we have a reason to be here? Like, if they ask us what our business here is? Doesn't seem like something you want to improvise.
Improvise
Business. We're looking for breweries. You know, new beers for our tavern.
what? Yeah, I could do that, or just say we're adventurers, right? We have plenty of gold to spend.
See, this is why we ironed it out, because I heard two ones that would work, but would be really confusing if we said both.
My vote is
Oh, I was
my vote
giving
is
options.
business from my vote's business from Waterdeep. I think the bar gives us a good excuse. Although maybe I wouldn't give them the real name.
Do we know that Yartar is known for breweries and alcohol?
Eva, Perry, make history checks. Okay, so to the point of Eva's comment about the walls, Eva, you would recall that long before the Lord's Alliance and long before the well-established trade routes and securities that have been brought to the north, Yartar was one of the central cities on the Savage Frontier. When hordes of orcs and giants and various monsters roam throughout the Savage North, causing mayhem and destruction, Yartar, over the years, fortified its defenses to prevent those kinds of assaults, so that people who were trying to expand northward would have a place of respite, a place of protection, while they re-established themselves. And it grew into being one of the most heavily traversed cities within the north. Perry, you recall that the agriculture and livelihood of Yartar itself is its fishing industry. You're not aware of any prominent beers or spirits that are produced here within Yartar, but I'm sure that they have a number of places to, drink, have a bit of respite, and unwind.
Yeah, so Yartar isn't really. They're not a alcohol city. Like, they're not gonna. Like, if we say, hey, we're looking here to buy beer and stuff, and be like, well, you ain't gonna find that here.
Well, what will we find here?
Fish. It's a big fishing city. Otherwise, I'm sure they have other things that are.
Takes a bit to get fish down the river to Waterdeep. Not very believable. But on the other hand, the walls are maybe relics. No one's here in Orc, so we might not raise many eyebrows anyway. So, Dallin, what's the story?
No. I wasn't here to decide. I was just
Oh,
here
you
to
had an
raise the
idea.
decision. No. I was just making sure that we weren't going to say 6 different things and get ourselves arrested entering the city.
Well, I'm gonna be totally honest. It's gonna be hard to convince them that we're not adventurers, due to the fact that my suit is covered in blood.
You're carrying that giant worm tail thing, too.
The truthiest story is usually the best. So we'll just go with adventurers. Hopefully that's not illegal or something.
Okay. So do you guys walk up towards the main gates?
We have our horses trot.
Okay.
With confidence.
Show horses. Okay. Within a matter of minutes or so, you guys eventually rush past the fields of wheat and small cottages that kind of rest on the outskirts of this large wall. And as you can get closer now, these walls actually appear to be about 50 or so feet tall. And even at this range, you can still see jutting out from behind that long cylindrical tower. Not entirely sure what it is, but it definitely stands prominent on this side of the river. You can see that the walls are lined with various bowmen carrying crossbows, standard longbows, and go ahead and make a perception check, somebody.
Which gate are we entering on the map? Sorry.
Where the blank token is.
Oh, that would have been a good clue if I just scrolled all the way to the side.
No, you're good. Kind of peering up at the guards who are patrolling on this gate, you can see that there are at least 6 or 7 of them just kind of patrolling around on top. And one of them has clearly made eye contact with you as the group of you approach, and you watch them kind of signal something to a few others who they line up in a bit of a defensive stance, but they're not drawing their bows at you, but they do have them, ready in front of them. And as you kind of look up, you can see the silver adorned plate mail that seems to be covering a majority of them. You can see a simple brown shoulder cloak or a half cloak is kind of draped over one shoulder. You can see that not all of them are wearing helmets. Maybe some of them are in places. And with that perception roll, what you actually see emblazoned on their chests, I'll post this in Discord because I don't have this on Roll20 yet. You can see what appears to be a beautiful looking woman that is engraved on their chest plate. As you kind of ride up close enough within conversation distance, you see one of them kind of raise their hand and hail. Halt! What brings you here?
Adventurers? Just visiting the town. Could use a little bit of a sleep, maybe a beer.
Kind of mumbles something to one of his fellow guards near him, and he kind of looks down at you. And your names?
If it's going to look meaningfully at Thalum first, because we did not discuss whether or not we were giving our names.
My name's Steve.
Perry Ironhill.
Alyssa.
My name's Ellis.
Tizio back here.
Eva, make a deception check at disadvantage.
Ooh.
So 12, because you would have been able to re-roll the 1.
Actually, one sec. Does this...
No, I mean deception. She gets the minimum of 10.
Yeah, I get the minimum of 10.
Okay.
So it's
17.
17, yeah.
Okay. The guard gives you a hard look to each of you in turn. Right. I've memorized your faces. Don't cause any trouble within the city. The Shield of Yartar are watching you. You understand?
Of course. That's very impressive that you can memorize faces that quickly.
Open the gates, let them through. And eventually, within
I
a
was
few
impressed.
moments, you watch as the wrought iron gate that is slammed shut down, blocking off this entrance here. As it's slowly, the wince is pulled back, and you can hear the chains pulling as the gate is slowly risen up towards the top. Within a minute or so, it is open, and passage is provided. But you guys are able to enter into this smaller enclave of an area where you can see that there are a number of homes, and while not every street is cobbled, some of the main road appears to be before it leads up to the center, where you can see in the distance that long cylindrical tower. And now that you're behind the gate, you can actually see what appears to be another larger tower that is breasted right up against the water, made of entirely what looks to be like some kind of stone or maybe obsidian. And as you kind of slowly trot and your horses clack against the cobble, you can see that there are just what appear to be a small number of simple folk, men, women, and children. Some of them are in the process of doing laundry. You can smell fresh baked goods coming from some of the slow burning chimney stacks of these small cottages. A few people raise hand and wave, but it seems to be an ordinary group minding their business.
As we're walking through the town, I'm looking for poor people. I want to see, right? I want to see like someone begging, or like someone who's obviously like dressed in rags or something, like some sign that they may not have all been kicked out and
Okay.
we may have been misled.
Make a perception check.
You can re-roll that one.
Yeah, that would be the 23.
Yeah, I didn't have advantage. We can take that or I'll roll again. Up to you.
No, you're good. Okay. You are keeping your eyes peeled atop your horse as the group of you kind of just slowly work your way towards the center of this area. You can see definitely not too far off to your right side, the wall extends and blocks off the river. What you couldn't really see from your approach is obviously on the map here, that long bridge that spans over, but eventually you guys kind of work your way towards the center of this small plaza of sorts, and at that juncture you can see that the road opens up wide. We're talking maybe 20-25 feet or so, and you can actually see another large portcullis that is up. It's not barred, it's not down, but it is currently up, and you can see a bridge made of brick and stone that extends out a good 100 to 200 feet across. It appears large enough to hold maybe 3 to 4 wagons side by side. But you don't see any poor people.
Is everyone around us human?
No. A majority of the people that you've seen in these cottages in this small area, the guards that you saw up on the tower, and as you kind of go through the city, you do see an occasional guard wearing similar attire, that are just kind of walking around. They just seem to be patrolling, maybe in groups of 1 or 2 here and there. I'd say the majority of people you saw in this area appear to be human. You didn't see any other races at the moment.
Okay.
So what do you guys do?
Do you guys want to go check out the stores? I always feel like the marketplace is the best place to find people that are willing to talk.
I mean, yeah, and do we know the name of the tavern that we're looking for?
Yes. It's in my notes somewhere. Hopefully.
The winking kiss? Or was it the white winged griffin?
Oh, dude. If they got griffins here, you know what I'm spending my money on.
Do you think we should stay somewhere different? Just have rooms somewhere different than where we're meant to meet this person. It might be wise.
I'm gonna be honest. I know who runs the storefront / tavern, and I know the secret phrase, but I don't know the name of it because I'm an idiot.
We'll just walk around asking everyone's name and muttering secret phrases at them. That'll work well.
I mean, you could have wrote it down.
I don't write things, I sing them.
So what you guys were
Oh.
shown.
Hold up.
Yeah.
Does the one thing Ellis remembers... Who's Valdebar?
That's the person we're supposed to talk to.
And... Is the name of the tavern The Lion Bites the Head?
I mean, there's 2 taverns, so that could be one of them. There's like the secret tavern and the public tavern.
Oh, I think The Lion Bites the Head is the phrase we're supposed to say, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So proud of you
So-
guys.
This is gonna go
Well,
smoothly.
We'll find him at one of the 2 taverns.
He's gonna be in the underground tavern that we have to say the phrase to Norda to get to. The question is, where's Norda?
So,
Well, we could always divide and conquer.
just as a reference, because this was pointed out to you physically while you guys were talking to Levi. Can you guys see this map? You were shown a small map that was just a set of boxes, and Levi had told you that that was the central market known as the Fish Yard. It stands right across from the Water Baron's mansion, and they pointed to one particular tent within the Fish Yard, and that is where they said to go.
I knew everything up until the the specific tent. So maybe I was taking notes well.
Oh, well, I like fish anyway. We'll just wander around.
Cool. Let's find it.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second.
Is Yartar another anti-magic city?
You
Guards
don't
didn't
know.
mention anything.
It's true. The guards did not mention anything. But, not to your knowledge. You know that, it's not against the law or anything to use magic, but, you know, if you use it to harm or charm another individual, that generally in any city has its repercussions.
Yeah, I was thinking more like maybe they actually have some magic items then.
It's possible, but you'd have to check. So, where are you guys trying to go?
To the fish yard.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me.
As we cross the bridge, Ava will flip a copper over into the water and mutter something about saying a wish for good luck.
Okay. Make a note. Very interesting.
And then she will turn into a scruffy redhead.
Okay. You all watch as you're kind of riding alongside Eva. Her visage just transforms into that of a more scruffy female redhead.
Yeah, we'll keep it simple.
Okay. Still
Wait.
half elf or
Human.
okay?
Wait, were you hiding your identity too?
But
You were
now
human
I
this whole
am.
time? Oh, okay.
Good to
Or
meet you,
was I?
Alyssa.
No, her name is Silly. Okay, so you pass under the large archway that could potentially bar this portion of the city and the river beyond into Yartar proper. You can see overhead there are at least 4 or 5 guards that are patrolling this portion of the wall as well. You gather the sense that
Oh, DM, sorry to interrupt. I've put my ring back on.
okay, you get the sense that this entire wall, regardless of its position to the water, is heavily watched. Slowly, you make your way across the large stoneworked bridge, and off in the distance to the left, you can see a small cluster of like turquoise-looking huts with a thinner cylindrical tower. It's beautiful yet simplistic in its design. You can see that there are various different um, cloth and ribbon like filigree that just kind of dangle from the ends of the tower and stretch down towards the ground below. A smattering of various houses with smoke billowing out of a few of them. You even see what appears to be a small water wheel or some possibly a granary for creating some kind of flour or grinding down any kind of objects within. But you don't see anybody on the bridge other than yourselves. And eventually you can make your way into the city proper itself. You don't see any street names or anything else, but once you do cross over into the larger part of the city, it feels almost impossible to gauge the scope of how long this is. This city stretches for quite a ways. You can see the opposite end of the wall protecting the city from where you enter, but it looks almost like a sea of various different sized houses, all kind of gently placed in small little pockets. The houses themselves look well kept. Um, you don't. You do see now that you're inside the main part of the city, there's a smattering of people. You can see while the population is still predominantly human, you do see that there are numbers of half elves, halflings, an occasional dwarf. You with your investigation check, you even notice 1 to 2 dragonborns that kind of just traverse through the city. You're not entirely sure if they live here. You see that some of them appear to be wearing these like heavy cloaks of brilliant looking colors, pulling along a single cart with what appears to be some kind of pile of wares or something like that. You do see that a number of them are heading northward towards what you gather is some kind of central market, and eventually you work your way over that way. And now that you guys are closer in, you do happen to pass by what Perry you would recognize immediately as the sound of an anvil and hammer. And as you kind of look past, you can see that there's a emblazoned blue shield with what appears to be a lion with a thick mane on top, and it says the Lion Coster Trading Center.
The smell of a good forge.
pressing in a little further and just kind of stopping and, asking the occasional person for direction, you're eventually pointed northward towards a large, rectangular-looking building with beautiful stained glass windows, and it clearly stands out from the rest of the town. One of the human passerby just kind of looks to you and says, "Oh, you're new here. Well, you want to head over to the fish market? It's right next to Water Baron's Hall." And they kind of point northward towards the large, black yet beautiful looking building that kind of stands almost up on a hill and towers over the rest of the populace.
Water Baron's Hall. Does someone live there?
Aye, the Water Baron herself, she lives up there. She's the one who makes all the laws and regulations for the city.
Is there a way to meet with them?
I'm sure she's quite busy. Now, if you don't mind, I must go. And he starts to walk off.
Can I like flash a gold piece? Like, well, just a moment more of your time. I'm sure I'll make it worth your while.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Darn it. Can I take the 19 on that?
Okay. He turns back quickly and just kind of looks around, and as you kind of like look around with him and try to be casual about it, he says, it's no need. I don't need the coin. Thank you. And he says that quite loudly. I'm just happy to have guided new folk in the right direction. I don't know how busy the Water Baron is, but she has a lot to attend to, so best of luck to you. Good day. And begins to walk off once more.
All right.
Hey, Barry.
Press the
What the
issue.
fuck you doing, man?
What, is it illegal to meet with somebody?
Yeah, you start asking. Don't ask the wrong people the wrong questions.
What's the right question?
Where's the tavern?
You got me, Ellis.
Hey, look, Ellis is back in the city. He's in his place. He's in his element. Ellis knows how to work the undergrounds of the city. He's already started to memorize the back streets as they're walking here. He's on a roll.
Okay. You begin that process. It'll take you some time to get a full grasp on the city,
Oh, sure.
but you're a quick study. You know what to look for.
We tried to find the box that approximates the location of the box that we were instructed to go to.
Yes. Oh, give me 1 second. Just gonna take my notes too. Okay. Within short time, you kind of get the sense now that you're in the city proper. People are kind of looking at you a little funny as no one else is walking around on horseback through the center of the city. And you are garnishing a number of stares, but no one's said anything to you yet.
It's the way I like it when we're committing, planning to commit crimes.
So, just so that's noted. But eventually, you would have to kind of weave your way a little bit through some of the larger now homes. You can see that there are these, in some places, 2-story or 3-story homes that just kind of scatter along the greenery to the north. And then just beyond that, you can see what appears to be a large cluster of vibrant colored tents of various shapes and sizes. And you recognize that from the information you were provided as the fish yard or the central market of the city. You can slowly make your way there, and as you do, you are caught by the overbearing sounds of conversation and what appears to be just the general clutter of individuals who are in the process of trying to purchase or sell their wares.
What do you like for fry sauce? French fries.
Um, it takes you a few minutes, but you get the sense that you think you are in the right location. What you see in front of you is what appears to be a small yellow adorned tent, not too close to the Water Baron's home, but nevertheless, it stands there in a long rectangular shape, just pretty close by to another taller two-story building. Um, as you kind of peer inside, you can see that there are a number of various oddities, from weapons to shields, different pouches and backpacks and things like that, a general store of sorts. And you see inside what appears to be a small halfling female who kind of looks at the group of you as you approach, and she says, "Oh, hi there, welcome. What can I get you?"
Go
Yeah, I want
ahead
some
and
advice, real quick. Now, we're tourists, obviously, if you can't tell. Where in Yartar are the best places to eat? I mean, like, dive-ins, holes, is... Where am I going if I have to get, the local food? The
Yeah,
good stuff.
Chippery.
Oh, well, there's no dive-ins here. Everything's pretty tip-top shape, if you ask me. But, well, if you're looking for a place to eat, the Coin Toss is a pretty popular tavern nearby. And she kind of like gestures towards the east a little bit, back down towards the way you came. Um, there's a pretty good food and drink there, and fun for those who want to try Tamora's luck.
It's a gambling joint?
Oh, no, not necessarily. It's an old game. It's been a tradition of the city for a little while. It's where it got its name. They keep a little helm in the center of the tavern on a small stool, and if you can flick a coin inside the helm, you get free drinks for the rest of the night.
Oh, we have to do that. We can definitely do that. We're gonna do that, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Put it on my checklist.
Well, you have the checklist, Alice. You're gonna have to write it down.
Oh, this is a sub-checklist? This isn't part of, like, my bucket list. This is part of my Yartar, like, to-dos and... Because we're tourists, right? Learning the city.
Am I
Anyways,
talking to Norda?
Well, you don't know.
I'm asking in character.
Oh, well, yes, you are actually. You kind of bombarded me with some questions. Nice to see somebody cares about some formalities. My name is Yorda. What's yours?
Steve.
Alyssa.
Ah, well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Steve Alyssa. So, have you come to look at my wares? I've got a little bit of everything. You all look to be the adventuring type. Can I interest you in some new riggings? Maybe a couple bits of dungeon delving equipment?
Actually, we're here because the lion bites its own head. Wait, that's not right.
Nope. Lion bites the head.
That was close.
You're the worst CIA operatives ever.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Oh no.
It's the wait, that
The
doesn't
14. Wait.
No, actually, that macro doesn't work. I have to do it the other way.
it's 17.
Although
Yeah,
I am.
it's still going to be. It's 20. 20 is the lowest
20.
I can go.
Okay. She kind of looks at you, and there's a long stare. And she quickly kind of looks around the rest of the tent, and thankfully, with the group of you kind of standing within the doorway and taking up a majority of the space, she kind of gives you each a little up and down, as if trying to peer into your personalities. There's a moment where she says, "Right, right. Well, just give me a moment. Come in, come in." And she kind of hurries you in and kind of closes the yellow tarp in front of the doorway, and just you see as she kind of flips a sign on the other side of it. She stands there quietly for a moment. She kind of puts a finger up to her lips in a bit of a silence. And then she kind of points over to you, Tizio, as you are wearing what appears to be like a decent set of armor. She says, "You, help me move this." And slowly the two of you begin to lift what appears to be unseen at first. Like you start sliding one of the makeshift tables that are just kind of propped up on grass. There's nothing. There isn't like a wooden floor or anything like that. This is just straight up grass. Say again?
I think that was background noise.
Yep. So she slowly lines her fingers up along the edges of the grass, and then you watch as she pulls out these two like wrought iron rings, and she points at you, Tizio, to grab one. She grabs the other, and then she just kind of makes like a 1, 2, 3 gesture, and you guys kind of quietly like lift up and shift over this heavy slab of just dirt, which is like embedded with stone underneath, to reveal a long staircase that leads down. And she kind of looks into the group of you, and she kind of holds her hand out. She says, "Right, well, at least make it worth my while."
Here, you'll give her a gold piece.
Ava will just look at the hole and look back up at her and say, "See, and you told us there were no dives here."
Shh, shh, shh. Keep your voices down. Get the fuck downstairs already.
Yeah, yeah.
And she kind of hurries you guys to get down the stairs. And that's where we'll take a quick break.
Did she take my gold piece?
She did.
Alright, good.
And as she, like, kind of slowly shifts the large slab back over to cover up the hole itself, she just kind of looks back to the group of you and just kind of gives a bit of a nod and a wink at you, Perry. But we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll press on.
Sounds good.
Awesome. See you guys in a few minutes.
Cool, cool.
feel like everything's going pretty much according to plan so far.
You messed up the secret phrase. Was that on purpose or an accident?
No, yeah, of course. Obviously, the lion can't bite its own head. Okay. Yes.
You didn't answer my question.
It was it was intentional.
Oh, okay, okay.
You mean as intentional as Ellis lifting the gate in the second episode?
That was fantastic. I'd forgotten about that.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but that was just coincidentally because I wasn't paying attention.
Nice.
Yep. Now I'll tell you my secrets. The reason Ellis is so funny is because this is the one campaign I don't take super deep notes in. All of my other campaigns, I'm artificers and wizards, and I always have to keep the smartest, most detailed notes for my entire party. And I said to myself, what would it be like if I played a character that didn't actually know what was going on? So, here I am.
I think a really funny escape vector would be that I cast water breathing on all of us and we just leave via river.
Completely viable.
There's also this like really tempting looking like little peninsula thing on the south side of the map.
With like the ships? Oh, that? Yeah,
Yeah, that looks like a very good getaway route. Although there's no way we'd know about it in particular.
but we would know about the river. We could steal an entire ship and sail.
Oh,
it.
is it-
Getting away from.
I was gonna say we came from the south side. We probably could have seen, this area from the distance.
I mean, there's kind of walls and stuff occluding that. Except when we walk over the bridge, I guess. I mean, I expect things to go very poorly since we already on purpose messed up the phrase. So, like,
It was close enough that it worked.
we should buy a scroll of earthquake and just, like, collapse the entire Water Baron's Hall.
I'm back, folks.
Oh, it's good you didn't hear our master plan.
Uh-oh, darn. I'll have to watch the recording then.
Oh shit.
Because I don't do that every week.
It's to buy a scroll of earthquake and just knock down Water Baron Hall.
Okay.
Water Baron Hall, known for its extraordinary foundations.
I don't know if all of our gold combined would be enough to even buy a 7th level spell.
I mean, I personally have 200 platinum, so I don't know what the rest of you guys got.
I think, well, in the DMG or Xanathar's guide or whatever it is that tells you the price of spells, I feel like 8th level spells are close to 50,000.
Just a really quick googling of an SRD thing. This says that they're 3,000, but that might be wrong.
That is the cheapest spell I've ever heard of.
This
They're
website
very
might be
rare.
wrong.
So they're very rare, so it's 5,000 to 50,000, I think.
So to create a 7th level spell, just to make one on a scroll, costs
Oh, yeah, that's-
25,000 gold.
Yeah, the thing I found was very wrong.
Yep.
I found more links.
Some wizard is selling these way below cost as lost leaders.
Lost leaders for what?
You get them in with the 8th level scroll, and then you sell them the.
9th level scroll? Like, you're talking pinnacle magic at that point.
demigod level magical items.
Wishes on the cheap.
Ring
You
of
do-
Witches. Yeah.
That's a weird way to pronounce simulacrum.
All right. Give me 1 second, folks. Pull up my notes. Nope.
Yep, here's the extension of my notes, you guys, as the barbarian. In the notes section of my D&D Beyond character page, I have in his other section my bucket list, and in my organization section, I have 6 words. It says the lion bites the head. Now the bar. Those are my notes.
It's funny because that's not even the right name. It's also funny because as a group, the thing still managed to mess. I know it was on purpose, but it's funny. The barbarian knows it, but the bard doesn't.
It's good stuff.
Not to dissuade you, DM, I pay attention as close as I can. I just, for roleplay purposes, don't take notes.
Sure.
Don't let that make you think that I don't care, because I do.
Hey, man. Actions have consequences. That's all I'm saying.
And
So-
that's what Ellis lives for.
So.
Yeah, this
Uh-huh.
this natural one prevention is really getting rid of all those consequences.
Yeah, it's you guys have a good team comp. So, you're eventually led down, or not led, but you were eventually sealed off from the tunnel entrance that you had just entered, and what you see is a long stone stairwell that you can comfortably walk side by side on. It is extremely well constructed. You can see that there are wooden beams that kind of like post up almost like in a mine of sorts, and it's very dimly lit. You can see that there is this faint green glow emanating from small pockets of the walls, and as you kind of walk past it, you see there appears to be this kind of like moss-like luminescent texture, very reminiscent of something you've seen before. You can hear in the distance, echoing off the walls of the chamber, the faint sounds of music and laughter. And slowly, as you guys make your way down 50, 100 feet, you come to the footrest of what appears to be a large and vibrant tavern. The rook sounds of cheer and drinks being clattered together, food being scraped off plates, and a large number of individuals are currently within this place. You can see that there are a few barmaids that are just rushing to and fro, servicing drinks. You can see the occasional laughter and flirtatious joking between some of these well-armored individuals, and you get the sense that well, these people might be adventurers like you. What do you guys want to do?
I want to look for another exit. I feel like not everyone in this tavern could have gotten in here through that one little entrance.
Make a perception check.
Are they all just living down here? Like, what's going on? Reception.
Okay. The tavern itself appears to extend out a good 60 or so feet in a long rectangular shape. You can see that there are a few wooden doors off to the sides in the opposite end from where you guys had entered into the stairs. You can see that there is a long oval shaped bar within the center of this area where there appears to be a slightly balding male, rather portly, with dark brown hair and this pointed goatee, which tries to obscure the rather short, almost non-existent neck. It almost appears as if his head is directly attached to his shoulders. And as you guys kind of enter into the center of this chamber, the music stops. Everyone's eyes turn to you for a moment. And there's this brief pause of suspense. A few individuals off on the sides slowly begin to pull out what appears to be daggers or something, just kind of look at you expectantly.
Hey man, if you want to go, just let me know. 1v1 me, bro.
Okay. Is anybody else doing anything?
Ava's just gonna give a big smile and a thumbs up.
You can see, as you all kind of stand there in this tense moment of these new arrivals that no one's seen before, as the balding human male at the center of the tavern begins to let out this bellowous laugh as he kind of taps onto the table. Everyone kind of looks at him for a moment and he goes, "Ah, I was told to be expecting a couple of strangers in our town. Welcome! Come. Back to what you were doing, people." And the music begins to pick up once more, and people place down daggers with a look of frustration, disappointment. You're not entirely sure. But once more, the conversation slowly starts to roar to a dull mumble. You can see the portly gentleman is now just kind of looking over in your direction.
We'll approach the bar.
Give me 1 second. Because of course Discord breaks the music. That's not right. Anyway, so as you approach the bar, you can see that this older human gentleman is already in the process of pouring out some drinks, and he's just kind of setting them out in front of the group of you, just giving a quick glance at each of you, and he says, "So, what brings you here?"
Well, I'm guessing you're Beldabar?
"That I am, Beldabar Yarin, at your service. Welcome to Beldabar's Rest."
We were promised a map or something.
Oh, straight down to business, no formalities with this one.
Hey, what's your best beer?
Ava's already like halfway through whatever he had put on the counter in front of him.
Generally no beer here, just more of the hardened spirits. He kind of slides over this dark amber-looking liquid in your direction. It's pretty strong, almost kind of like a cinnamon whiskey.
Ooh, that's some good shit. You got any hard ciders to mix with it?
unfortunately not. We tend to enjoy our drinks as they come.
Hey man, I don't judge.
Well, kind of glancing over you, Talon looks at everybody else and he says, "So, Leviathan told me a motley crew would be coming in here, maybe within the next day or so. Care to give me your names?"
Alyssa, this is good, by the way. And she's gonna set down an empty glass.
Make a deception check. He kind of nods and looks back at you as he slowly starts to begin refilling your glass. "Well, I like to see that you're at least sticking with the story you entered with. But Levi's already told me about you guys."
Must have been pretty quick. We came right here.
I mean, Josh.
He gives a slow smile and it breaches across his lips and he slowly starts to like pull on the center of his goatee. He says, "We have ways of communicating amongst each other. Or should I say, they have ways of communicating with me." "But I was told your names before arriving. I just wanted to see if you'd be honest with me. For I am supposed to be honest with you. Was that not the arrangement?"
Yeah, Levi was pretty light on the details, to be honest. But being honest seems like a good baseline policy.
"So, let us put aside the facades for just a moment and introduce yourselves properly, regardless of whether I know it or not. Show a little faith."
Well, I'm Perry Ironhill.
Avandra.
My name's
Tizio.
Ellis. What? Oh, Ellis, and I would also like a refill, please.
He unconsciously just starts reflexively like pouring it for you.
Holds up 2 fingers and then just like slips her glass under there.
Name's Talum.
"And you?" And he looks over at you, Tizio.
Ellis and I kind of said at the same time. I thought I
Oh, I
went
didn't
through.
hear you.
Sorry, yeah, Tizio.
He lets out a bit of a sigh and a shake of his head. And he says, "Oh, I know a little more about you than the rest, I'd admit. But sure, Tizio. Anyway, as you can see here, those of us within Beldabar's Rest are a tight-knit group of individuals. And I would like a little bit of assurance that you've never seen this place, because it does not exist. Do I make myself clear?"
This is a very nice place you don't have here.
"I'm glad that you catch on quickly." "Well, give me just a moment, will you?" And you watch as he kind of sets the bottle down that he was refilling your cups with, and he steps off for a moment. You guys are kind of left within the center of this bar, just kind of all leaned around where Beldabar was talking as he ducks underneath the small, exiting of the oval bar, and he kind of walks off towards the back room for a moment.
Hey, do you think this guy is a workshop?
What?
Do you think he has a workshop? Like, do you think he does anything else in his free time?
Like a Beldabar workshop?
Jesus.
Well, I don't know. It's just an idea that popped into my head.
Could
Maybe
be. I'm
we're
sure he's
stupid.
pretty busy with this.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, guys.
I couldn't resist.
Oh, that hurt to hear.
Sorry, I'm back. My dog wanted to go outside. So after a few minutes of kind of standing there, you get the sense that you guys are being heavily watched and criticized right now. You can hear that. While you can't really make out a lot of the whispers and murmurs that are going on, it seems that the lot of you have become the center of attention. And you can hear a couple angered slamming of mugs on tables, and then the occasional hush from another. Um, I would say there's maybe about 12 or so people right now, just kind of milling about, drinking in various spots, and just while whenever you guys kind of like look over in that direction for a moment, just to kind of survey the place, they all seem to like avert their eyes and attention, and you definitely get that sense of they seem to just be keeping a keen eye on you. But eventually, um, Beldabar does come back out from one of the back rooms, and you see that he's holding what appears to be this rather large piece of canvas. And he doesn't go back up to the bar, but rather he goes over to one of the longer wooden tables that's maybe about, I don't know, 5 or so feet away from the bar itself, and you watch as he just kind of waves a hand nonchalantly, telling the group of individuals, the 3 or 4 that are there, to just kind of get the hell out. And wordlessly, they all kind of stand up and they don't say anything. They just leave that area. They go find another place to sit down. And you watch as he just kind of unfurls this piece of canvas on the table. Well, do you need an invitation for everything? Come on now.
Ava's going to bring the bottle.
Okay. So as you approach around this wooden table, what you see before you is a large drawing. Let me see if I can pull it up for you.
Someone just replaces it with a giant nude woman. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, where's my map?
Can you guys see?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you are shown is a very large representation of what appears to be a very beautiful interior of a building. In addition to what appears to be a central hall or something, and as you kind of look down onto it, you can see that there's a small marking that says 1. And then there are 2 other floors that you were kind of shown, which appear to be slightly smaller with larger rooms, and you don't see the same like kind of central pillars or anything within the center of it. Beldabar kind of lets out a bit of a sigh, and he looks at the group of you and he says, well, it's taken us a bit of time to gather up as much information as we have, but to the best of our knowledge, this is the layout of the Water Baron's mansion. Many of which you would recall as Water Baron's Hall. I'm sure you've seen it as you approached.
Yes, people seem to be quite scared of it.
Well, that's because no one is allowed in there without justification from the Water Baron directly. Those that reside within are typically Belathine's personal guard, the higher end of the city of the Shield of Yartar, and the select few merchants and guests that she allows within its walls. Now, I don't know what it is you are planning, but I was told to provide you with this information and as much detail as I can about the number of personnel and the general day-to-day of the Water Baron and her activities. Does that sound correct?
It
I
would
mean,
help.
yeah, currently we kind of have no plan.
But you said that she'll meet with traders.
There are a number of merchants all throughout what is now the northern part of Faerun that venture to Yartar to strike up business negotiations, as the Desarin River is one prominent means of transport for precious cargo. We also stand within the apex of one of the major trade routes leading from the east, and so people cannot really bring in their wares and cross through over onto the long road without coming through Yartar first. So negotiations are typically had with the Water Baron, and coin is usually traded with them to allow safe passage in negotiations. It is known from time to time that a number of merchants will stay within its halls, and they will feast as they talk and converse for a number of days before an agreement is struck. And you can see as he kind of he points down to the central image, the one that you guys are looking at, and he says, the interior of the building is quite fortified. Most of its walls and floors and ceilings are made of pure marble. It is quite hard to slip in and out without making a lot of noise, as most typically footfalls are echoed throughout the chambers, so stealth would be quite optimal. And then you watch as he kind of shifts over towards a upper floor, towards the top. On the third floor of the hall is the Water Baron's main residence and chambers. There are several rooms within, most notably her bedchamber, and he kind of points over into one central corner. Almost directly above, if you were looking at this map, where the long dining table is, but 2 stories up. The roof of the building is well fortified with standard slats, and there are a number of stained glass windows throughout the building. To be quite honest with you, I do not know of the best method of entry. But Leviathan says that you are a capable bunch, and you should be able to figure something out.
Yeah, we have some tricks, I guess.
Few of them. Anything we should be on the lookout for? We heard that pointy things don't work in there. Any magic words? Any other tricks?
Yes, absolutely. Within the hall, the current Water Baron has worked with a few of the clerics and priests from the Happy Hall of Fortuitous Happenstance. That is the temple to Tamora located here. It's on one of the more higher points within the city, and he kind of just like he points off in a direction, but you guys kind of aren't sure because you guys are underground. It's a beautiful building, but they have established a bit of protection, a ward, if you will. They call it Tomorrow's Grace. It prevents bloodshed within the halls of the building. It is known that the personal guard of the Water Baron are typically carry maces and warhammers and things of that like, as anything that would slash or pierce the skin will not do so.
But it's still possible to, bash someone's skull in.
Well, none of us have exactly tried it to be sure, but from the information we have gathered, as we have one unknown source that comes from within the temple, it should do the trick, which is why the guards typically carry such war hammers and things on their own.
Any other enchantments, like wards against magic spells or anything?
That I do not know. Our contact from within has only told us about the singular ward of Tomorrow's Grace. There are a number of individuals who they have claimed do possess magics, but we do not know the extent of what their capabilities are or how many there are. All we can tell you is that there are about 20 guards that patrol the building, both inside and out, on any given day. As far as the Water Baron herself, she has not exited the premise in going on 4 months now. She seldomly leaves the area unless she must. That is why it has been so difficult for us, and he kind of gestures to the group around you, to find a situation to capitalize on. And you can see at this point now, as as Beldabar's talking to the group of you, it's gotten quiet once more within the tavern. Everyone's just keenly listening to the group of you. One thing we do know is that on the outside of the mansion, I don't know if you have seen it yet, or if you've even dared to go near, there are large stone statues, akin to lions, and they are posted all throughout the sides of the building. They are hollow inside, in fact, as those who are typically punished by the Water Baron spend a number of days within there. We do know from previous experience that those who are punished and put within that statue are typically brought inside first and shoved within. So there appears to be a doorway of sorts that is locked from the inside of the hall that leads to these stone statues. However, ever since a number of the citizens have been evicted from the city, crime has gone down a lot.
Well,
So,
as far as things that we should ask you, a map is a great place to start, but do you know of any, patrols and or good ways inside? Times a day, the whole shenanigans. What can we build a plan around?
I think if they had a way, they would do it.
Most certainly, your friend here is right. We have monitored the Water Baron's Hall quite extensively and as discreetly as possible. From what we can tell, at least 4 to 6 guards patrol the outside of this complex. We do not necessarily know what their routines are within the halls, that we don't have the eyes and ears within. Only our accomplice who has told us about the ward. But for fear of discovery, they've kept their information and identity a bit of a secret from us. Now, as far as the exterior of the building, as I said, there are a number of windows made of stained glass within the upper level of the building. But we do not, if it were as easy as just breaking in and causing damage and havoc, yes, it's something that we could do, but we have not been able to locate or figure out a way to get in discreetly. And that is where Leviathan is relying on the group of you.
I think the best way would be to get a meeting with her.
I mean, what is? How does that help? I mean, we're in, but then like,
I mean, we can go over the details in a little more private setting, but don't necessarily trust everybody here. No offense, I just don't know you.
None taken, but we would like to be apprised of what your plan will be.
Well, essentially, we get a meeting with him, make deals over the course of a few days, and then I guess the few words, we set up a way to execute the plan.
Why not just try to sneak in? Why? We'll have to at some stage anyway, yeah?
There's magical wards and there's guards. And if we can get in, at least through the front door, and somebody's hidden or Callum has a few magic tricks up his sleeve.
Are there any balconies or anything like that?
From our understanding of the building, no, there is not. Belathi is a paranoid individual.
Just like the Trojans. Oh, never mind.
I do not know what these Trojans are.
I misspoke.
Oh, conceivingly, the only real way in from the top side would be through windows.
While we are unable to access the roof and see if there's any other secret entrances or trapdoors, we can only surmise what we can see from the outside. And the information that has been provided, the actual layout of the building itself, what little detail we have was given to us from our unknown source within.
seems like the easiest would be to have a couple of people be invisible and slip in through a door that opens and hide out somewhere. Deliver the poison and then get out.
Exactly. The poison could happen before we even leave. That we would be under. I imagine we would be under lock and key and guard all night. But the people that they didn't know were there would be able to get in and out without anyone noticing.
Well, I'm saying we could probably do that without even like initiating trade or anything, but just like wait for the door to open. Two people slip in there through the door.
Doesn't your spell only last a short while, correct?
I mean, a couple people in the party know invisibility, I think, so they could. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, normal invisibility lasts like an hour, right?
Gets you an hour.
Yeah.
But if she's only taking guests upon request, how long could you be waiting? Yes, I don't know. I don't know if you're just following other traders in, or and then it's just you're by yourself then too.
Well, I don't think we're gonna be able to get the whole party in inconspicuously. It's gonna be a mess.
Unless you have like the meeting with a select few and the others are invisible.
Yeah, but I mean, if it comes to the point where we're exchanging blows, I don't think that's gonna end well, even if we're all there. So I don't know if we should even plan for that.
Well, we can't even fight, right? Like that's the whole point, is that it can't be.
Just no piercing or slashing, as far as we
Yeah.
know.
Like we can't actually really even fight our way in or out.
I mean, bludgeoning and magic should still work.
Mind you, if we can avoid bloodshed, if we can avoid a bloodbath, all the better. The more discreet that you can be in subduing the Water Baron and making sure that she is no longer alive, the easier it is for us and our contacts to suggest a new form of government. We want it to look like it was not intentional, something that had just happened overnight, if possible.
Yeah, exactly. If we go there knocking heads around, it's gonna look like an assassination regardless.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, if it goes wrong, I don't even know if we could physically fight our ways out anyway. So I'm saying we shouldn't make a plan around having to do that. If we only can get 2 people in, then we only get 2 people in. Like I don't.
Well, then you're possibly sacrificing yourself then. 'Cause how can you ensure that the poison is taken if you're only in there for an hour? If you send somebody else.
What about deliveries, like food deliveries and stuff like that? Like how often have you guys seen, the place get restocked?
Typically, every 3 or so months, the food wares are restocked within. Give me one moment, and you watch as he kind of like rummages around through his pockets for a moment. Looks like he's pulling out some kind of like, almost like an itinerary or something. Uh, so he's like starts mumbling to himself. It does appear that we are almost on that time period where a new shipment of goods is supposed to be re-entered within the facility. We we have not considered trying to infiltrate in that means because we do not exactly know who or all the personnel involved with the transport of the goods or where they're coming from. We just know that a number of caravans do end up entering into the city, depositing their wares into the Water Baron's house and then leaving. But that is an option. If you
Hey
can...
guys, I've got a crazy idea, and it might just be decent.
I hope you're thinking what I'm thinking.
Well, look, we don't know what ways there are in the top, but we do know there are windows. We've got someone that can make things quiet, so if it comes to having to break in a window, maybe not a bad option. Otherwise, we might be able to find a way in through the top. And then, I'm gonna be completely honest, we may not even have to use the poison. What if we just knock her out and stuff her in the bag?
Well, then it looks like she's been kidnapped.
Yeah, the whole point is it's supposed to look like a heart attack. Or
I think
brain
he's saying, cut off her air supply.
So the
Oh.
point is to make it look like she died without someone murdering her?
Yeah.
Oh.
It would ensure the most easiest transition of power. If they think she had died of natural causes, then they are going to be arguing amongst themselves for a time to determine who's going to take her place. We want to sow deceit and misinformation within them so that we can put one of ourselves in that position. But if they realize that she's been killed, they may unify and rally back against us in a retaliation. And that is something we are trying to avoid. I'm not saying that we can't do it. I'm just saying that it will make things most difficult, and there will be a bit of an uprising. It will be a challenge for us.
Well, plan B. If we need one of us in there, and they're not the most stealthy, we could what? Throw you in the bag for a few minutes?
Yeah, that could be a way, but in my head, it almost seemed like only Ava and Tizio should go in because they're the stealthiest, I think.
Excuse me?
I mean,
I can literally climb walls with my bare hands.
true, I guess. But, I mean, I don't know if you're particularly sneaky.
I've got like feet.
Okay. That was just an intuition. It wasn't like anything final, obviously. I don't think we can get the whole party in. That seems like it'll be loud and somebody's bound to make some noise.
Hey man, like, I won't disagree. If there's any way y'all's know how to make my feet even lighter, I won't complain. However, I feel like having someone that can walk on the ceiling would be pretty useful.
Yeah, that's a good argument. I kind of forgot about that power.
What about
That invisibility
underground?
could be enough.
What'd you say, Tizia?
What about underground? It's sort of sewers, drainage system.
Of course, how could we forget?
I mean, Yartar does have a. While we are not as extravagant in our design as Waterdeep per se or Neverwinter, I mean there is irrigation that we use. It. I do not know for certain if there is some kind of underground entrance into the Water Baron's mansion, but I mean, anything is possible. She is a paranoid woman. It would be something that you would have to investigate and look into. We have not done that.
At the cost of a lot of spells, I could get people through a window without breaking the window.
And if we break the windows, that kind of make it seem more like someone obviously broke in and assassinated
we
her.
can't break the window. What I'm saying is, I could move us through the window without breaking it. It's just very expensive on spells.
Well, if you're not coming in, then maybe that's okay.
And it would take a lot of seconds. It wouldn't be fast. Like, it would probably take... It's like it would be 6 seconds per person, I guess.
What exactly are you planning? Tell us the details of what we're trying to do here, so we all know what's going on.
So, I could Misty Step through the window, and then use a feature that allows me to swap places with someone. So I could do that multiple times. Therefore, I can get a couple people through, but it costs a casting a Misty Step every time.
Nice.
I mean, that's pretty dope. Wait, swap places with me right now. Do it.
Okay, I'll do it.
Oh, okay, so you do it. So you watch as Talon looks at you, Ellis, and for the briefest moment, there's this like stare where he makes direct eye contact with you, and then suddenly you feel your body being pulled and shoved from its place, and everything goes black for a second, and then you reappear, and you're still facing in the same direction, but now you were just kind of looking at the wall of the tavern and the like 2 or 3 tables that were behind Talum at the time, and you watch as there was this sudden little and now you're just seeing that there's about like 6 or 7 people that are just kind of looking at you, a little startled, eyes like wide open, and you have to kind of turn around and you look, and Talum is now where you were.
Holy fuck. That is so cool.
That is very handy.
Dude, we could totally use that. Yeah, man, you peek in the window, you get, now I feel like Ava's gonna be crucial to making sure we stay silent on the inside. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, having a wizard in there, I don't want to, exclude anyone. I'm sure there's something the clankety short clank can do on the outside, but that's
I mean,
cool.
The problem is getting back out, to be honest, because I'll be burning a lot of spells to get however many people we get in. So getting back out would also have to be graceful.
Maybe that's where the bag comes in.
Oh, that could save a lot of spells.
Maybe we go into the bag and then you poof through and we climb out of the bag. No burnt spells.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that could work.
And you can get us directly into her room.
I could go through a window. There might be a window.
There is one stained glass window up in the central rear of the building that we know for certain is the Water Baron's chambers. However, it is 3 stories up.
Well, I can get us to the roof with a rope.
I mean, do you know
we
if
can
her
go in the
chambers
bag.
is her chambers left empty, constantly guarded?
That we are uncertain. As I said, the information we have is piecemeal together from within, from our contact. All we can surmise is we have seen roughly about 20 different faces of guards coming in and out of the building. Where they are typically stationed or how often they shift around the building is something that we do not know. It is a gamble.
I could see inside the building.
Oh, yeah, I could do that too. I have clairvoyance.
Yeah,
Is it ritual or do I have to prep it?
it's prep.
Ugh, okay. So it would have to be tomorrow. Yeah, we could do that to get some more information. That's a really good idea. We just have to buy something, but we're in a pretty big city, so we could get it.
Yeah, I need some more, I need some less flashy clothes anyway. And some more flashy clothes,
So, if that's all the information you have for us, I think we're gonna get some supplies and formulate a plan. I guess we can check back in before we do it, I guess, so you can be briefed since you wanted to be.
Yes, of course. We definitely need to know if, oh, pardon my language, but if things go ass up, we have to
I mean,
be
if-
prepared.
Yeah, I mean, if things go ass up, that will kind of be an in the moment thing.
We
So-
understand. But do not expect help from us to get you out should you fail to keep yourself hidden. If it is discovered that the resistance is involved in this, it will be trouble for all of us. You understand that in doing this you are alone. We will do what we can to provide you supplies or information as we have it. But you cannot be linked back to us.
Yeah.
But take your time. Make a decision. There is no rush. It's not like it needs to be done on the morrow. Sit, have a drink, relax. You watch as he kind of claps and music begins to start picking up once more as now the rummaging and conversing between each other just starts to pick up again. Beldabar grabs up the large canvas that he rolled out and slowly starts furling it up and then walking it back towards the storeroom where he once brought it out from. He says, "You're welcome to stay here if you like. We have bedchambers on the sides, but if you'd rather roam around and find another place, well, that is up to you." And he
I mean-
disappears.
Clairvoyance is a very good spell. We should definitely use that before we do it.
Yeah, before, during.
Both maybe, but definitely before, so we can figure out if there's someone typically stationed in a room.
That's what I meant. Yeah, both.
Yeah. I was
I need to go shopping. I want to see if there's a blacksmith that can work on my spike. Good shit in town.
I mean, Ellis, I don't know if you want to start a project here. When we leave, it'll probably be with haste.
Why is that?
I mean, I'm kind of expecting things to go poorly by the end.
We can hope that they won't.
You expect us to be seen, and then you expect. Do you see this giant spike that I'm holding? Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
You're like you can kill a person.
I'm saying if you might not want to like give it to a blacksmith, you might want to wait till we're back in Waterdeep for that, when we have some more time.
Fine. Whatever. But I am gonna get myself a hat.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need to buy a couple things. So, put a hat on your list.
Yeah, I've got a hat. I saw one of these guys walking around with it, and I was like, hot damn, that would totally match my suit. So I want one.
So Ava's been like knocking back whiskeys this entire time.
Okay, you are
Uh,
intoxicated.
She's gonna pull out the vial and like she's like sitting and like swaying in little circles. She's gonna cast protection from poison on herself. And I would like to see if she is now sober.
Hmm.
My read is yes, but she wanted to test it.
Make. Let me think.
I mean, is alcohol poison?
I mean, if you become intoxicated, you suffer the poisoned condition.
So technically, yes, alcohol
So-
is poison.
So yes.
So,
But the question is are you drunk enough to have alcohol poisoning?
I would say.
Poison either
Well,
way.
here's what we're gonna do. You were intoxicated. Make an Arcana check.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So you attempt to cast protection from poison on yourself, and it doesn't work. And you kind of sit there and go, "Oh, fuck."
Ava frowns at the vial and says, "This fucking thing is broken. 1 second." And then she just starts playing.
Oh, okay. And it's
Oh my.
Here, you don't have to.
Very
We're gonna roll with the one. She's just like terrible.
it's this gaudy, like, disappointed tune, and it's a lot like there's a lot of like strikes that are just off key, and you can see that there are people like wincing and covering an ear, but they're just trying to bite their tongue and not say anything because you guys get the sense that they are not going to cause a ruckus, especially if Beldabar is involved. Cast counterspell on it. But nevertheless, you guys hear this terrible screeching coming from Eva's Veal, and you're taken aback by it at first, and you kind of look over, and she's fucking drunk.
At the end of what she thinks was a song, she'll put it back away, and then just look around with a smile and say, "I think we all learned something today." And then lay her head on the table.
So, as Eva's eyes slowly begin to close to try to work off whatever stress she has, what are you guys doing?
Well, maybe we rent a room on the side for Ava. Plunk her in there while we go shopping.
Yeah, let's do it.
Baldabar, are the rooms free?
What are we doing? What time is it?
Well, you don't know because you're passed out.
No, yeah, she's asking.
Uh, I would say with getting over there, having the conversation, it's probably pushing early evening, maybe 5 o'clock or so. But Beldabar looks over to you, Ellis, and he says, "Yes, if you're wanting to stay here, there's no charge for the room. You're helping us. We are helping you."
Great.
Well, we gotta put one of them in there while we go run some errands.
Where are we going? I want to go. You guys hungry?
She's your friend, Ellis.
Great. I'm gonna pick her up over my shoulder and ask where the room is.
He points to the opposite end of the tavern, where there are one side of the hall has 4 doors on it, and then the side that you were standing on actually has 3. He says, "Well, it's the second one on the left there, closest to the stairs."
All right. I trot over with my friend over my shoulder and say, "Are you in the mood for anything in particular?"
It sounds kinky.
That does sound very cute. Steak? They got steak?
Steak. They've probably got lots of good steak here. I'll pick you up something nice.
As you enter into the bedchamber, when you open the door, it's not a grand room. It's not extravagant by any means, but it is functional. You could probably fit. You see that there are 2 like twin-sized beds, one on each side of the wall. The room is maybe about 10 feet wide, about 10 feet deep or so. Just small little alcove, like a box or so. There is a like stone ceiling, and you can see that there are these like wooden slats that kind of hold up the place just for structural integrity. Um, it's pretty barren. There's a small side table in the center of the room, and you can see that there's some like hay stuffed mattresses with some like feathered pillows that are just kind of like thrown on top lackadaisically.
Cool. I'm just gonna, put her on the bed, throw a pillow on her face, and then walk out.
Okay.
Thanks, Alice. You're great. Take an inspiration die
Nice.
for 10 minutes.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna go rush and try and find some shit.
Yeah, I'd like to ask Beldabar.
Yeah.
Are there any shops, weapons, armors, magical shops, and whatnot that we can buy stuff without them, questioning what we may need them for or anything like that, or shops we should stay away from? Some that may help our cause.
Yeah. Uh, he gives a long, thought out pause before answering. He says, "Well, we have a number of basic weapons and armors upstairs. If you need anything, just ask Norda. Uh, Tell her I said you're welcome to have it on loan. As far as magical items and stuff go, I mean, while we are a major city, a lot of that stuff is restricted. The Water Baron has had a strong grasp on what can and cannot be sold within the city. She fears the gathering of too many magical items poses a threat to her and her existence. So unfortunately, while you can bring your own magical items in, as many of us have, having a localized place to store such things is seen as a, what is the word, possible attempts at coercion, or you understand.
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy. Thank you.
Do you know where I can procure specifically a jeweled horn, a glass eye, and a gilded flower?
Interesting. Um,
He just so happens to have that right behind the counter.
do. No. There are a number of jewelsmiths and other various crafters and flower shops here within the city. I'm sure you can find somebody who has such a decorative ornament. It shouldn't be too much of a problem, although you know, I don't have any specific names to give you. You can most certainly try the Lion Coaster.
Okay. Lion Coster. Cool. Is there an exit out of this place that isn't the way we came in? Somewhere
Well,
less conspicuous, I guess? I don't know.
he chuckles, but he looks at you and he says, "Only the way you came in. Rap twice on the door. Norda will know. Just give it a minute."
Cool.
So all these people go in and out every day, or like, are there other like rooms here that they're staying in?
Many of us stay here underground. It's usually we have to stay out of sight for a little while, especially if we were prodding our noses where it shouldn't be. As I said, we've been gathering information for quite some time. It's best to stay unnoticed, at least until we can bring about change.
Well, I'd like to go shopping before all the places close. See you in a couple hours.
Of course.
Me too.
Okay. So eventually the four of you can make your way back up the long stone staircase until you find yourself having to squat down a bit as the staircase just comes to an end, where there's that stone slab at the top covering the tunnel above.
Oh,
I
I'll
give it-
lift it. I can lift it up.
No, 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 no.
Wait. What's up?
Just
Are you-
knock twice. Follow the instructions.
Oh. I knocked twice.
Okay. At first, you don't hear anything. There's no response. You guys stand there for about 3 minutes or so before eventually you hear this faint and as the stone slab slowly begins to get pulled out from above. And then there within a now very low lit interior, there's a hood and lantern that is now dangling from the ceiling of this bright yellow tent. The yellow flap to the door which you had entered is closed currently, and just kind of blocked off by a long table. You see Norda stands there now, and a little bit of sweat on her brow. She just kind of looks over to you. She goes, "Oh well, you've been down there for a while. Everything go good, I assume."
Yeah, we'll be back in a bit. Just going shopping.
She lets out this sigh of, "Ugh, I have to lift it again," but she doesn't say anything. She's right, well, just let me know.
You can always ask me to lift it. I'm pretty strong.
That's what I get paid to do.
Well, then quit complaining. Haha.
I didn't complain.
Nah, I'm just messing. Alright, we'll see you later, Nora.
Right. Best not say my name out in public, huh? Thanks.
Sounds good. See you in a few.
They really got these folks scared.
And eventually the slab is slammed shut once more, and you guys are able to exit back out into the city proper. What do you guys wish to do?
We go to the Lion Shield Trading Coster.
Okay. Yeah, so you get over there, and once you approach now, as the sun is, now that you guys are outside, you can actually see that the sun is getting pretty close to sundown. The actual forges that were burning and tittling away pretty tirelessly as you had passed it earlier have died down to a slow simmer. You don't hear any. You don't hear the sounds of any steel being melded or worked on currently, but the door's still open. There's a couple hooded lanterns that are just posted up inside. You can see that it's the building itself is actually made out of what appears to be like a solid brick and stone. You do see that there appears to be like a wooden porch or something out on the front of it that has a small weapons rack with various different fine-looking rapiers and short swords that are just kind of seated in a presentory fashion. And you do see that there is a nice suit of full plate armor that is up on a rack, just kind of sitting like a scarecrow, welcoming people who enter into the shop. The large blazoned symbol of a lion on a blue shield emblazoned overhead.
Ooh, fancy. Can I inspect it?
Yeah, make a perception or investigation, your choice.
Definitely perception.
Nice. It's really good quality, actually. You gather that while there's not a sheen to the armor itself, um, it is extremely functional and well made. You gather that this Yeah, looking at this, actually, you get the sense that this is very similar armor to that of the Shield of Yartar, the guards of the city, and what they are wearing. Although it doesn't have the emblazoned symbol of the woman on it.
I mean, it must be making a lot of these.
But the door's open. You guys are welcome to enter if you like.
Yeah, let's head in.
Let's do it.
Okay. The warm lit interior and the smell of burning coals immediately hits your nose as you can see that there stands a very young looking woman with this vibrant, like bright blonde hair that kind of flows down to about shoulder length on her back. You can see that she's covered in various bits of like blackened soot on her face, and she's wearing these thick leather gloves on her arms, and she was like actually in the process of taking off this heavy leather apron. She's kind of tossing it over on the side of the counter and lets out a long sigh, and she looks up to the group of you and she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know I'd had visitors. Come in, come in. What can I do for you?"
I'm looking to purchase a couple of whatever things.
Right. Peculiar. Well,
Magic.
what kind of...
Means
Oh, magic things. Oh,
No,
and,
not magic. They're not magic.
I'm sorry, I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I'm looking for a pretty fancy gilded flower, a fancy glass eye, and a fancy horn. Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
You actually only need one of the two.
They determine what you can do. One's for seeing, one's for hearing.
Do we need the one for hearing?
I would like to purchase both with my money.
I'll stop metagaming. Go with me.
She looks at you and she says, well, and you kind of give her, you give her those vague descriptions, and she goes, right, well, I mean, if you're looking for like a glass bauble or something,
No, a glass eye. About 100 gold pieces. That kind of price range.
I mean, do you want it shaped like an eye? I guess, let
Sure.
me think about it. You watch as she kind of thinks in her head for a moment. She says, it's an unusual request, all right. I tell you what, I, I'm not much for in the way of glass blowing, but I can speak with Darthag. They're one of the local blast blowers in town. I'm sure I can get something to you on the morrow. It's a little late in the evening right now. I'd have to run over there and speak with her. But
Great. For the jeweled horn, is that procurable? Again, about 100 gold pieces.
You watch as she kind of reaches under the counter and she pulls out this. It's about a foot long, about inch and a half in diameter, a small like a bugle horn kind of looking thing, like one of the old Viking style horns. There's no jewels on it, but it does have this leather strap that is wrapped around the open hole and then the small mouthpiece at the back. And she kind of holds it up and she says, well, I mean, we have these types of horns, pretty simplistic in design. Never had one requested with jewels embedded in it, but I think I can get something made to that effect if that's what you're looking for.
Yep. And then finally, a gilded flower worth 300 gold.
That's gonna be a little tougher, I think. Hmm. Let me. I. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. I'm so sorry. I can ask around, but having decorated flowers, I mean, like, there's all sorts of ways you can get that done. I definitely don't have anything in that manner. I normally I work on shields and swords and armor and things of that nature. Uh, I appreciate you coming here and asking me directly for it. It's good to know that the Lion Shield Coaster's got a name for itself, but I'm sorry. You have to give me some time to talk around and ask some other peoples.
How long?
I'd say about a day or so. I'm about to get off work and close up the shop for the night. I'm probably going to go swing by, have a few ales, and then see if I bump into anyone along the way that might be able to help. But trust
Did
me,
I?
hmm?
Okay.
What were you gonna say?
No, nothing.
Oh, I was saying, I'm. You seem like a nice bunch of people, and like I said, I appreciate you coming to me first with your requests. So I'll do what I can as a neighborly citizen to make sure that you get what you need. But you gotta give me a little bit of time.
Well, I'll be here in the morning for the horn and the eye. If you can't get the flower, it's not the end of the world.
I understand. Well, if I hear anything on the wind, I'll let you know. Um, as far as the horn goes, do you have any particular jewels that you want to embed in within this horn, or are you asking me to procure those as well?
I do not care as long as the horn becomes worth 100 gold. Find me 90
Okay,
gold of jewels, tape them to the horn.
noted. And what was your name, young man?
Steve,
Make a deception check.
I've been saying this the whole time.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's not lying.
Okay.
You don't get better at it just by saying it 3 times. Okay. Right, Steve. Okay, well, is there anything else I can help you with? I mean, we have a large assortment of armor and leathers and all kinds.
Also, since this is a pretty big order, I'll give you half up front, and I'll give her 100 gold.
Oh, that's nice of you. She takes the coin, she pockets it. She kind of looks at you a little shocked. She's like, "Huh, it's the first time anyone's ever really had to pay for anything up front. I'm not gonna lie. Usually, people who fail to keep their word here in Yartar usually, well, they don't do that. So it's nice to see that you're going the extra mile to make sure that your name is worth something. Thank you, Steve." What
Thank
brings you?
you.
Yeah, well, what brings a lot of you into town? I haven't seen you around before.
We're adventurers stopping by.
All right. Well, Yartar has a lot of things to offer, so if you've got the money, I'm sure that they've got the time for you. Just and you watch as she kind of like looks around for a moment. She's like, just don't get in the way of the shield of the Yartar. They're a prickly bunch.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Well, I'll have this all worked up overnight, and maybe I can find something out about that flower of yours.
Sure.
The name's Lien, by the way.
Good to meet you.
Pleasure, Steve. I'll see you in the morning.
Meanwhile, Ellis is going to the tailor.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
Oh, I'm rolling it on here. Why did I almost pick up my own dice? I'm using inspiration. 14.
Cool. Yeah. Thankfully, as you guys were walking towards the Lion Shield coaster, you actually noticed that there was a very fine-looking fabrics and materials place that was in a small little two-story house, not too far off from the fish yard. You kind of rush back over there while they're conversing, and after a minute or so of sitting there listening to them talk, you just kind of walked out the door and you headed back over that way. But you do find Firelast Fabrics and Tailoring, and you see what appears to be a older gnomish looking individual who's just like in the process of like locking up the door at the present time as you kind of rush back over there, and you see he has a set of keys that he's like in the process of locking the front of the establishment. He kind of looks over to you and goes, "Oh, well, can I help you, lad?"
Oh, well, bullets. I didn't know you were locking up. Yeah, I want to purchase some fabric, and I want to purchase a hat. I don't know. Should I come back tomorrow?
Make a persuasion check. You're just looking for a bolt of fabric and a hat, you say? Any specific color?
I was kind of looking for maybe like a beige tweed. I saw this guy walking around who looked like kind of like a flat cap style.
Like a beret?
Less like a beret and more like a flat cap. But sure, I guess they're kind of in the same zone.
Okay, I think I might have something that I can muster up. Just give me a minute. Stay right here. And he steps back inside, and he mumbles for a minute as he's trying to like look for some matches or something. He asks you to wait outside the door, and you watch as he lights up one of the lanterns once more within, and you can see the interior kind of lights up a little bit. You see him rummaging around for a minute, and then he disappears out of sight. Eventually, he comes back with a large bolt of fabric and what appears to be very akin to what you were requesting, a a leathery beige looking hat of sorts that just kind of like folds down into a not like a bill but just like a flat brim, very similar to like a flat hat.
And I did specifically want to request black fabric.
Okay, give me 1 second. So you specifically like he pulls out a bolt of fabric.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Those two. I would like to purchase those two things. They're perfect.
Okay. So he says, "Oh, right, okay. Well, I didn't take you for the sewing type, but who am I to judge? It wasn't too
I mean,
much."
look at my suit, and I'll turn around and show him the sewer rat on the back of my jacket.
He he remains stoic, but he kind of nods at it, and he looks at you and he says, "Ah, I see what you mean there. I mean, if you want, I can clean this up and take care of your jacket for you."
Oh, no, no, no. Kind of weird ritual thing as far as the cleanliness of my jacket goes. I'm all good. Just the fabric in the hat will do.
Right. Okay. Well, for the bolt of this black fabric and the hat, I'll just run you about 5 gold pieces.
All right, sounds good. I'll rummage through and pick out 5 gold, hand it over.
Okay. Yeah. And he hands you this long bolt of fabric. and your hat. And he says, right, well, if you ever change your mind and you need that suit a little cleaned up for you, I'm more than happy to help. And
Sounds good.
just
Won't
just
happen.
just as a bit of a courtesy, you stink a little. Not to
Oh,
put you off or nothing, but I wouldn't want you wandering around the store and getting that smell on the rest of my fabrics. So I appreciate you standing outside for a moment.
that I can fix. I've got friends.
But you have yourself a bolt of fabric and a flat cap hat.
Great. That completes my style. I would also like to find some steak dinner.
Easy enough to do. Yeah, it really explains something. There are a number of small taverns and eateries. One in particular that you guys were referenced to would be the Coin Toss Inn and Tavern.
Ooh.
Which is
I,
actually out here.
I don't want to go there without Ava.
Hmm.
Well, I don't want to experience it without Ava, so I'll just, find a place to pick up some steak and bring it back.
Okay. If steak to go, um, I'd say you can find more of a bit of an offshot. Actually, one poot in the boat is a small eatery of sorts. It's not as extravagant as the coin toss is, or at least what some of the passerby are telling you as you're kind of asking for directions. Um, but I mean, they can procure steak for you. They charge you a little extra because you want to take the plateware with you, but they're happy to let it go for about a gold. Or how many are you trying to
Wait.
get? Just the one, or
Nah, man, I'm hungry too. I get 2 steaks.
okay, so just run you 2 gold.
Oh,
But now you have these piping hot, probably like good sirloin steaks that are cooked to your
oh,
specifications. With you can see that there appears to be some kind of like asparagus or something akin to it. It's like this rich green that's also been just kind of like barbecued along with the steak. And then you can see that there appears to be some like cauliflower that's just kind of pressed into the side of the plate.
well, delicious. I'll probably, yeah, carry it back home
Yeah.
to this, well, to I don't know where. I forgot where I'm going. As I
Okay.
wink to myself.
Lily lets out a bit of a chuckle. Is there anything else you guys are doing, or were you just kind of hanging around Talum?
I was looking for magical items.
Okay.
If they have any.
Make an investigation check. Are you trying to ask people, or
Oh, shop owner.
okay? So you would recall from Leanne at the Lion Coaster that well, no, I'm sorry. Beldabar had specifically mentioned to you guys that magical items are kind of a no-no as far as shops are concerned. You probably won't find that within the city. However,
Let's see. She sounded like she had something.
who?
I mentioned it. Uh, Leanne at the Lion Coaster or Lion Shield.
She specifically doesn't have any magical items for sale. What she's creating for Talum is, as far as she can tell, just a horn, a decorative horn with jewels encrusted on it, and a specialized piece of blown glass. Um, as you kind of walk around and carefully take your pick and choose who you're trying to talk to. You kind of look for the individuals who are just like out near the fish yard, just talking amongst themselves, and you see one individual who's just kind of like quietly sitting in what appears to be like a rocking chair or something. Kind of looks over in your direction, looks around, sees the group of you, sees that the sun's going down now, so it's getting dark. Most of the people are either closing up their tents for the evening, packing up. There's still a couple vendors who are just selling various bits of like food and small bits of wine and things like that within the actual central market itself. Just kind of looks over and he goes, "Psst. Hey,
Yes.
you want to see something cool?"
Sure.
He give me 1 second. Roll me a d6. Yeah, you want some free candy? Uh, 1 second, guys. Oops. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Um, you watch as this middle-aged man, maybe in his mid-20s, early 30s or so, he kind of looks to you and he's just leaning back in this rocking chair and he just kind of has a big old smirk on his face. The dirty brown weathered beard on his face just kind of reveals into like a set of crooked teeth. And he doesn't look homeless or anything per se, but he definitely just, has a very rugged appearance about him. And he just kind of like looks around, nods over towards one of his companions who just kind of like turns away and walks off. He goes, "Hey, I found this a little while ago. I don't need it. Maybe you can take it off my hands, huh, for a price." And you see as he kind of like quickly shows you in his direction. Make a perception check.
Right.
What you see is a very small vial, about 6 or 8 inches or so in length, with this quicksilver-looking liquid. And as you kind of stare, and what little bit of torchlight's kind of emanating off of the fish yard and some of the still open markets in that space, what appears to be like some kind of small black feather. So, interesting, isn't it?
Can I tell what it is right off the bat?
You have no idea.
It's a feather.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of magic in it. I don't really know what it does, but I hear it's hard to come by.
Well, can you let me identify it?
I don't think so, young one. I know how that game works. I let you hold it, you rush off. No. Coin for the vial.
You can hold it. I just gotta touch it.
Make a persuasion check at disadvantage.
No.
he looks around once more. He's like, if you don't want it, you don't need it. Just go. If you want it, give me the coin. You look like
How
you
much?
need it.
How much is it?
1,200 gold.
I don't know. Fuck that.
Promise, it's worth it.
Now get out of here, crazy dude.
All right. He kind of leans in on his rocking chair more, and he looks at you. And even though he's sitting in here, he's sitting in this chair, he's about eye level with you. I might have somehow let it fall into my pocket when it was making its way to the Water Baron's house. Shh. I hear that it'll let you fly.
Well, all it takes is a minute, and I can tell you exactly what it does.
Let me check something real quick, because I don't know if the identify spell works on potions like that.
Am I with Perry?
Yeah. And if you're trying to ritual cast it, it's 10 minutes.
I'm gonna just outright cast it.
Oh, if you're going, okay. Let's see. Da.
It might not. It might not let me do potions.
That's what I'm checking.
If potions are magic, identify works, I think.
I'm checking. Well, apart from just asking him to touch it, is there anything else you're trying to do to convince him to let you cast some kind of spell on it?
No, Perry's already like half his foot out the door, so 1,200 is a lot to spend on a potion, unless it like, is like a haste or a speed potion or something.
I mean, you don't know. He's you get the sense that he's very nervous. I mean, he doesn't want to be swindled. You get the sense that he's trying to sell something and not be like, outright stolen from, especially because he doesn't know you, and he's extremely, like I said, nervous. Yeah, if you're just only verbally trying to tell him to let you hold on to it, he's just not inclined to do that at the moment. But, I mean, tell him you are there with Perry. So is Tizio.
I guess I could like, look, here's a gold piece.
As collateral for the thing he thinks is worth 1,200 gold?
You can have the gold piece, regardless, and just all you gotta do is let me touch it. Like you can hold on to it. At least you get something from me. Just touching it.
Deal. He wraps his hand around it tightly and just gives you like the very bottom of the beaker.
And then yeah, I'll cast identify on it.
Okay.
Oh, I guess he's already pinged it.
So you spend a minute in this awkward silence as you kind of sit there and focus on what you can from this spell. When the spell completes, you recognize this as a potion of flying. When you consume the potion, you gain a fly speed equal to your walking speed for an hour, and you can hover. If you're in the air when the potion wears off, you fall, unless you have some other means of staying aloft.
Oh, that is quite a nice potion you got there.
See, I told you.
It's a
You're not
flying
gonna.
potion.
You're not gonna. That's what I said. That's what I said. Not gonna
I'm
find
just-
this
I'm
anywhere.
Telling my compatriots in case they're interested. I don't see myself needing it.
Well, do you want it or not?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you, though.
Ah, and he watches. He kind of spits on the ground, starts to get up and walk away.
But in case we change our mind, where can we find you?
He's he is walking right now. You see as he's like looking around very suspiciously, like at the other people. You see that like even though now it's starting to get dark out, that you can see that the Shield of Yartar are now actually starting to patrol through the fish yard very slowly. And when he sees them in the distance, he veers left and tries to dart northward, as if he does not want to be caught. But he ignored what you said.
Would Ellis be passing by at the moment?
I mean, yeah, around this time you'd probably be the Shield of Yartar would probably be looking at you weird as you're coming from that direction from 1 foot in the boat, 1 foot in the boat, um, holding these two steaming plates of steak, and as you kind of like all meet up in the central part of the fish yard, the Shield of Yartar kind of walk away, and then you guys can see Ellis standing there holding these plates of food.
Hey guys, what's up?
I almost got that potion just for Alice. Almost.
What'd you say?
No, it was a potion this guy was trying to sell us, but yeah, 'cause he ran off that way.
Oh, well, that's too bad. I gotta get this steak to Ava before it, gets too cold.
Okay.
All right.
Well, what we'll do is we will pick up on the next session from you guys making your way back down into Beldabar's Rest, and before we roll over into the next morning, if you guys want to do anything or have any additional conversations, you can definitely do that, but I don't want to drag you guys past any longer. It's already 10:12.
Oh, I do have one thing. I mean, it's half metagamed because I know what artificers can do, but can you make my suit smell, like, better? Tizio?
I can. Yeah, I can probably like make a button on your suit or something like that, or um. Yeah, but that only lasts for an hour. Yeah, I can. I
No,
can use
you're
my
magical tinkering.
Yeah, no, Talon put something up. That's why. Yeah, I can use my magical tinkering like on a button or something like that, and make it emit some sort of fancy cologne that you like.
Hmm. It's a cologne. Ellis is trying to think of a cologne other than the smell of blood for like 2 minutes.
Ode of
I
Ogre.
don't know.
Well, while you guys quietly, everybody make stealth checks for me real quick. As the Shield of Yartar are now a little more present within the city at night, and you guys are trying to sneak back into Norda's establishment to make your way downstairs. Oh, look at that!
Oh.
Okay. Well, thankfully, you guys, even with Ellis holding 2 plates of steaming food, and the two of you kind of talking amongst yourselves about perfumes and scents and stuff, it's enough of a distraction that you go by unnoticed, and you eventually slip your way into Norda's yellow tent within the fish yard. She kind of gives you a nod of recognition, and you watch as she kind of pins the flaps closed for the evening, expecting you not to have to go back out again. You guys remove the slab and you head back downstairs into the tavern to enjoy an evening to yourselves, to deliberate and think about how best to handle this situation on the morning. And that is where we will end the session.
Cool.
Good job, guys.
Good stuff.
As
Good
always, I
session.
appreciate you guys playing.
It was fun.
Likewise.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Alright.
Yeah.
I will see you all next Sunday.
That
Maybe
should be.
like pine wood.
Some pine saw. I'll make it some pine saw.
Yeah, I feel like that's not too girly, but it's also like it's not rank either. It's like sharp and rough and manly, but not not smells like iron.
I think blood smells worse than iron after 3 weeks on a suit.
Well, I've had you guys cast prestidigitation on it a few times.
When? Because I'll
Right?
tell you, no. Because if you had that's I'm telling you right now, that suit is sparkly white. It removes all soil, including the blood stains.
Yeah, but then he gets it bloody again. He's saying he's refreshing the blood, so it's not like.
So when you guys went to the underground mountain area, he just kind of dunked himself in water. Because I had asked about that. I was like, "How are you washing up?" He's like, "It's all stained and dried." So he just freshened up in the river.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah, my suit right now is like is basically looks like a light pink with very blood stains
oh yeah,
in certain parts of it.
green,
So I look
purple.
like oh yeah, looks fun.
But yeah, I mean, if you cast prestidigitation, that will definitely clean up the smell, along with any other things that are.
I didn't know if prestidigitation could do just smells.
Well, that's the thing. I don't think it can just do the one. It's like an overall cleansing.
Ah, okay.
Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, look under magical tinkering. Here is this thing. An object continuously emits your choice in order.
Yeah, that's magical tinkering, not prestidigitation.
Oh, but that's what I was asking from Tizio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I understood that. It's
Yeah.
Vellum put up prestidigitation as well. So I was like, wait, like I was reading, I was like, oh wait, no, dude, that only lasts an hour. Like,
Yeah. He
I think he
threw
wants
it.
something a little bit more permanent.
No,
or
no,
long.
no, no. Prestidigitation is like, oh, there's dirt on my clothes. I sift it off with magic. It lasts an hour, meaning you can cast it for an hour to clean up a certain square footage. He was reading it because he was trying to see that if he cast it on your clothes, would that remove the blood, which I say it would. But magical tinkering would definitely be a permanent, perpetual, like lavender smell or whatever you chose. On top of blood smell.
Yeah, I feel like pine doesn't go too bad with like deep iron. It's not a bad.
Strong enough to overpower it.
Well, if you guys have any questions, I really think you guys should converse amongst yourselves this week and figure out what you're gonna do.
I feel like it's pretty, pretty straightforward.
Gonna run and
Climb to
gun
the
the
roof.
places.
Climb to the roof, teleport in, kill him, teleport out.
like it. All right, I'll see you guys next week.
All right,
Take it
see
easy,
you
guys.
guys.
Thanks for playing, everybody.
Yep.